God warns, if you're seeing this, I'm sorry. It's over. Someone has made an important decision about you. There is a quiet reason this moment found you, and before you scroll away, allow yourself to hear these words with an open heart. Sometimes life places a message in front of us, not because everything is ending, but because something inside us is finally ready to understand what we could not see before. Stay with this, because what follows may connect with thoughts you have been carrying in silence for far longer than you realize. You have spent more time questioning yourself than most people will ever know. There have been conversations that never reached your lips, hopes you protected because you feared they would be misunderstood, and moments when you smiled while quietly carrying a weight no one else could recognize. If this feels familiar, then perhaps this message is not interrupting your day by accident. Perhaps it is simply reminding you that unseen seasons of growth often happen before any visible change appears. Someone has recently reached an important decision concerning how they see you, but that decision says as much about their own journey as it does about yours. Whether they chose to step closer, step away, forgive, reflect, or simply understand you differently, their heart has moved from uncertainty toward clarity. You may not have witnessed that change, yet it has already begun shaping the atmosphere around your relationship in quiet ways. For a long time, you may have believed that every unanswered question required an immediate answer, yet life rarely works that way. Many of the most meaningful changes happen long before anyone speaks them aloud. People observe your patience, your kindness, your resilience after disappointment, and even your silence when you could have argued. Those quiet moments leave deeper impressions than dramatic speeches ever could. The important decision that has been made did not happen in a single conversation or a single day. It was formed little by little as someone remembered your character, reflected on shared experiences, and slowly began seeing you through a different lens. There is something important here, because not every change arrives with loud announcements. Sometimes the greatest shifts begin within a heart that finally lets go of old assumptions. As you continue listening, do not rush to imagine names or outcomes. Instead, notice what this message awakens inside you. Perhaps it is hope, perhaps it is peace, or perhaps it is simply the realization that your story has never been as forgotten as you feared. Every meaningful relationship, whether close or distant, passes through moments of reflection before moving forward. What has quietly changed may become clearer in ways you do not expect. But before that understanding arrives, there is one deeper truth you need to hear first. That truth changes everything, and it begins in the next part. Not every answer arrives the moment you begin asking the question, and that is often the hardest lesson to accept. While you were focused on moving through your own days, healing from disappointments, and trying not to overthink every silence, another heart was quietly sorting through thoughts it had avoided for a long time. Real clarity rarely appears in moments of pressure. It grows in ordinary moments, when memories return unexpectedly, and people begin to recognize the value of someone they once misunderstood. If these words feel strangely familiar, allow yourself to keep listening. Don't miss what comes next. The decision that was made was not born from impulse, but from reflection. Someone looked back at conversations they once dismissed, remembered the kindness you offered without expecting anything in return, and noticed the consistency you showed even when life became difficult. They realized that your quiet strength was never weakness, and that your patience was never a lack of confidence. Sometimes people only understand another person's worth after enough time has softened their assumptions. That realization does not erase the past, but it changes how they carry it into the future. You do not need to force recognition or prove your value again. What is genuine has a way of revealing itself naturally when hearts become honest. There may still be moments when you wonder whether you imagined the connection, whether your efforts mattered, or whether your presence left any lasting impression. Those questions are deeply human, yet they do not always reflect reality. Some of the strongest impressions are made without immediate acknowledgement. Your calm responses during difficult moments, your willingness to walk away from unnecessary conflict, and your decision to keep growing instead of becoming bitter have spoken more loudly than you realize. Stay with this, because quiet character often reaches places that loud words never can. The changes unfolding now began long before anyone found the courage to express them. As this story continues, remember that the most meaningful turning points are rarely dramatic. They begin with a simple shift in perspective, one honest realization, or one memory that refuses to disappear. What has changed is only the beginning of a much deeper understanding that is still unfolding. In the next part, you will discover why this decision became possible only after both paths had quietly changed, and why that detail gives this message its deepest meaning. Sometimes the distance between two people is not created by a lack of care, but by the lessons each person still needs to learn. Looking back, it may seem as though nothing was happening, yet beneath the surface, both lives were changing in ways that could not be seen. The quiet seasons you once wanted to escape became the very seasons that shaped your perspective. Without realizing it, you became more patient, more thoughtful, and more secure in who you are. There is something important here, because growth often happens so gradually that you only recognize it after everything begins to look different. The person who reached this important decision did not simply wake up with a new opinion. They began noticing details they had overlooked before. They remembered how you remained respectful even when misunderstood, how your words carried sincerity instead of performance, and how your actions matched the values you claimed to hold. Those memories slowly replaced old assumptions with new understanding. Reflection has a quiet way of revealing what hurried judgment once concealed. While you continued moving forward, they were learning to see your story with greater compassion, and that change within them became more significant than either of you could have predicted. You may still be tempted to search for immediate proof that something has shifted, but not every meaningful change is visible at once. Some moments are meant to be received with calm rather than rushed with expectation. Continue living with the same integrity that has carried you this far. Continue showing kindness without needing applause and choosing peace over unnecessary conflict. Those choices are never wasted. They become part of the quiet legacy you leave in every life you touch, even when you are unaware of it. Stay with this, because the next realization may help you understand why patience has played such an important role in your journey. The deeper message is not only about another person's decision, it is also about your own heart. While they were reconsidering how they viewed you, you were becoming someone who no longer depends on another person's approval to recognize your own worth. That quiet transformation is what gives this moment its true meaning. In the next part, everything begins to come together as you see how inner peace creates space for healthier connections, and why this chapter feels different from everyone that came before. A new chapter rarely announces itself with loud words. More often, it begins with a quiet sense that you no longer need to chase what is meant to unfold naturally. If you have felt yourself becoming calmer lately, even while questions remain unanswered, do not ignore that feeling. It may be the clearest sign that your heart has been growing stronger than you realized. The peace you have been building within yourself has changed the way you respond to life, and that quiet change is influencing more people than you can see. There is something important here, because inner peace often becomes the beginning of healthier relationships. The decision someone made about you carries meaning, but it does not define your future. What truly matters is that you have reached a place where your value no longer rises or falls with another person's opinion. You have learned that genuine respect cannot be forced, trust cannot be rushed, and meaningful connection grows where honesty and patience are allowed to breathe. As someone reflected on your character, they began to recognize qualities that had always been present. They saw consistency instead of uncertainty, quiet strength instead of hesitation, and kindness that remained steady even when life became complicated. Those realizations were not created overnight. They were earned through the way you lived, one ordinary day at a time. It is easy to believe that the biggest moments in life happen all at once, but many lasting changes begin in silence. A thoughtful conversation, a remembered act of kindness, or a single moment of honest reflection can reshape the direction of a relationship. That is why there is no need to rush ahead or imagine every possible outcome. Continue becoming the person you are already growing into. Keep choosing wisdom over impulse, grace over resentment, and hope over doubt. Those choices create a foundation that lasts long after emotions settle. Don't miss what comes next, because the final part is not about uncertainty. It is about understanding the deeper purpose behind everything you have experienced. As this message draws closer to its conclusion, one truth becomes impossible to overlook. The most important decision was never only the one another person made. It was also the quiet decision within you to keep moving forward with compassion instead of bitterness, with faith instead of fear, and with patience instead of pressure. That inner choice has prepared you for a different season of life. In the final part, all the pieces come together, leaving you with a sense of calm clarity and a reminder that your journey has always been leading toward growth rather than simply waiting for someone else's response.